As we saw in an earlier chapter, you can change a document size by going to the File menu and choosing Document Setup. When you do this, it has the effect of changing every page in the document, even your master pages, which is a topic I'll cover later on in this chapter. For example, let's go over here and change the height of this to something larger, maybe 12 inches. When I click OK, you'll see that every page in the document got taller. I'll press Command-Z or Control-Z on Windows, and it goes back to the way it was. Of course, in most documents, you want every page to be the same size, but sometimes you need to alter the size of one or more pages. For example, in this document, a brochure file from the Exercise Files folder, I have a trifold. That is, 3 panels, front and back. There's 3 here, and if I look at the Pages panel, there's 3 more over here. Now this page on the right is the cover of the brochure, and this panel over on the left is the inside. It's going to fold inside when it all gets folded up. If all 3 panels were exactly the same width, we would have a problem when we came to fold it. Instead, we must make this panel, the one over on the left, a little bit narrower so that it folds inside the other 2. Now, before I show you how to change the size, I need to point out that this really is 3 different pages in a single spread. You can see that over here in the Pages panel. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. Each of those spreads is made up of 3 separate pages. It may not be obvious to you at first how to get a 3-page spread, so let me show you. First, in the Pages panel menu, I'll choose Insert Pages. And I'm going to add 3 pages after the end of the document. I'll click OK, and you can see that now I have 3 different pages, each on its own spread. Now, in order to get them together onto a single spread, I have to go to the Pages panel menu and make sure that this option is turned off. Allow document pages to shuffle. When it's on, they're always going to be on their own spread. When it's off, I can put them together. So I'll leave that turned off, and then I'm going to drag page 8 over to the left, over to page 7, and I'm going to drag it over until I see this little icon. It looks like a little black arrow pointing to the right. This indicates that the 2 pages are going to fit together. Now I'll do it to the 3rd page. Drag this over till I see the same icon. Let go, and now I have a true 3-page spread. Now, for this brochure, which is just front and back, I obviously don't need a 3rd spread, so I'll go ahead and select that and then delete that by clicking the trash can icon. Okay, back to what I was talking about. Now, once again, up on page 1, let's go ahead and double-click on those numbers to jump up to that first spread. I want this first page to be narrower. To do that, I'm going to choose the Page tool. That's the 3rd tool down in the tool panel. The Page tool is a little bit non-obvious in how it works, so here's the trick. After you choose the Page tool, click on the page that you're trying to affect. That could be a master page, or in this case, a document page. I'll simply click on this page and you'll see that it's highlighted. There are these weird little side handles and corner handles around it. Now, you want to be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to click on an object on the page. That actually does something slightly different. You want to click on the page itself. If the whole page is covered with objects, you can take a shortcut and click on the page in the Pages panel. Next, to change the size, I go up here to the Control panel and I change the width. But before I change the width, I must first go and make sure that the reference point on the left edge, that's this little icon over on the left edge of the Control panel, I have to make sure that that reference point is set up correctly. The reference point tells me what part of this page is going to stay stationary, what's locked, and everything else will move around that point. I'm going to choose any one of these points along the right edge of the reference point icon. By doing that, I'm telling InDesign to keep the right edge where it is. Then I'll go to the width field, and I'll change this from 266 points just down to, let's say, 260 points. You can see as soon as I hit Enter or Return that InDesign changes the width of that page. And it did it based on the reference point, the right edge of the page, so that doesn't move. Now, of course, this is a double-sided brochure, so I need to do the same thing on the next spread. I'll double-click pages 4 to 6, and I'll use the Page tool to click on the right-hand page. The right-hand page is the opposite of the left-hand page on the first spread, right? They're 2 sides of the same panel in this brochure. So I'll click on that right page inside the brochure, and then I'll go up to the Control panel. And again, before I change the width field, I want to make sure that the reference point is set up correctly. Actually, let me show you what happens if I don't change the reference point. I'm just going to go ahead and change this to 260 points. It's a little bit tricky, but you can see that there's now a blank area between these pages. The reference point was set to the right side, so that page got narrower, but the right side stayed where it was. That means I have a gap between these two pages, and that's obviously not what I want. That would print completely incorrectly. So let me undo that, Command-Z or Control-Z on Windows, and set the reference point properly. I want the left side to stay where it is, and then change the width to 260 points. There we go. So that page will now fold into the brochure properly, and it'll end up in the proper place, and we won't have any problems when we're folding or binding. Now, there are many other examples of when you might want to change individual page sizes. For example, maybe you're creating stationery for a client, and one page of your document might be a letterhead, and the next page could be an envelope, and the next a business card. You can mix and match all of that inside a single InDesign document using the Page tool.